Welcome to A Date with Darkness podcast, where I will be discussing the impact of hurtful and abusive relationships and how to overcome them so that you can move through your pain and get to the kind of healthy relationships you want, need, and deserve. I'm Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist based in California. While I hope that you find this podcast educational and informational, please note it should not be substituted for treatment with a licensed mental health professional. Also, due to the nature of the podcast, some of the information presented on the show can be sensitive to some of my listeners, so please note that listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome back. I'm super excited that you're sitting here with me. And, fall is officially upon us. I don't know about you guys, but it seemed like, right when Halloween hit, there was like a drastic drop in the temperature, especially here in California. I mean, we literally went from like 70, 80 degree weather to like 42 degrees right now at the time of me recording this podcast. There was a ton of rain yesterday. And so literally having the AC on to turning on the heat. And normally it's not good to do that if you have central air. But I had to make that shift because it was getting too cold in the house, and I definitely like to bundle up. So hopefully wherever you are, hopefully you're staying warm and cozy if it's cold where you are, or if it's not, just staying cozy, and maybe having a little fall drink, apple spice, chai, pumpkin spice, hot chocolate, something of that nature to help keep you warm. And if you're like me, I don't drink any of those things, so maybe a nice hot cup of tea would work, or coffee, if that's your jam. So I want to get into it today. I want to talk a little bit about a topic that I want to thank Dr. Carrie McAvoy for giving me the inspiration to talk about this topic. Dr. McAvoy I had on a little bit ago, and she talked about her experience with being married to a narcissistic husband and how that cost her, financially, which if you're listening to this, you can relate to that. But the topic I want to talk about is D.A.R.V.O, and D.A.R.V.O is an acronym, and it basically stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse, Victim, Offender. And it's an acronym that describes, that basically stands for words that describe what it's like to get into a conflict with a narcissist. And if you're anything like me, I'm the type of person that I don't really like to get in conflict in general, but I definitely find as I get older, or, just for me, I like simplicity of life. I like to have a good time. I like for my life to be smooth, easy, not complicated. I don't like for chaotic people to be in my life. And I don't like for people that, just pull so much or demand so much from me energetically, right? And so, if chances are, if you're that type of person, we're not going to have too much of a relationship. And I want to talk a little bit about D.A.R.V.O, because I had an incident recently in which D.A.R.V.O describes perfectly to a T exactly what happened. So actually, and I don't want to necessarily make this about myself per se, but I definitely want to give you a little bit of context so that D.A.R.V.O can be explained a little bit more clearly. And basically, I had a situation where there's a person that was in my life, and I'm no longer talking to them, or I don't talk to them as frequently. And they asked me why. Why don't I talk to them? And, it actually didn't start out with why. It actually started out with that person saying that your behavior is just awkward, like our interactions are awkward. And then it became a situation where they were like, why? And then when I listed out the reasons why, like the reasons why I stopped talking to you or associating with you is because you became very condescending. you were publicly degrading me or, being nasty to me. And it had even gotten to the point where, it felt like those sort of remarks flow very easily. And I'm sure that, some of you listening to the podcast can relate. Do you ever have someone in your life, or have had someone in your life, if you don't anymore? Because again, those people, for me, they're not really a part of my life. But have you ever had somebody in your life that has been very comfortable with when they come around you, or when there's an audience in particular, that they're very comfortable with making snide or condescending remarks? And this could be at your job, this could be a family, this could be any situation, but this person just gets very comfortable with making, these types of remarks, and just sort of putting you down or trying to make you feel away in front of other people. Well, that's the situation here. And so I just want to kind of walk through the steps here, of D.A.R.V.O. And so, with this particular situation, again, the D in D.A.R.V.O stands for deny. And when a person is stuck in that denial, they're like quickly dismissing everything that you're saying. And they're basically saying, hey, it didn't happen. It didn't happen like you say it happened. And there's just a denial of the impact that it may have had on you, and a denial that anything needs to change on their part. So, when I brought this up, this situation up to this person, their first thing was like, nah, that's not the way it happened, or, it just complete dismissal, that I remember the incident exactly the way it was. And also, in their denial, they were asking for evidence, like, oh, well, that's not what it was, and I think you mistook for what it was, and I need to see proof, or I need other people to come forth and tell me if that's what they observed also, or if it was just you. So this is kind of, again, that denial and needing all this extra proof, or this justifying, right? Like, of like, the experience, like, I'm just going to minimize, I'm going to say, well, it didn't happen like that, and in those kind of things, right? So complete, like, just disregard for your experience in the situation. And then comes A for attack. And attack happens when it's like, you're crazy. You then become the accused, right? So they accuse you of the wrongdoing. And then there's an attack. There's further attack, and that further attack might be, you're too sensitive. That attack might be on your mental health, or accusing you of being unstable. They may question your honesty, your morals, your actions, or they may even accuse you of being not smart enough. So, for example, in my situation, the person was like, oh, well, you probably just read it wrong, or you mistook it wrong, and or you're just moody, or you're very sensitive. That's kind of what it was. And I don't think it happened that way. And another aspect of the attack piece is that you get accused of being angry, you get accused of being bitter, you get accused of being crazy, or again, this is a total blame shift or victim blame piece here. You never said anything. And Natalie, you never said anything. Or, why are you bringing that up now? And that's also part of that attack mode. Then there is the reverse victim offender, and that's basically where they turn it back onto you, for you being the aggressor, and them making themselves out to be a victim. And so they will then say that you're making things up to hurt me. You're cruel. You are aggressive. And this is the ultimate form of gaslighting. Um, and DARVO is particularly harmful because it's particularly harmful because at the end of it, you when you go through this experience or you get caught up in this negative loop, if you're the victim or you're the person with the issue and you're trying to genuinely talk to a person about a relational problem, next thing you know, things are turned back onto you. And so you come out on the other side of it, like thinking, okay, well, maybe I do have a problem. Or you do begin to wonder, like, if you were put in an emotionally abusive situation or you were degraded and humiliated or, other types of abusive situations, you do begin to internalize blame as a result of, this D.A.R.V.O attack. You do begin to internalize blame, and you may even question yourself, doubt your own sanity, question yourself in terms of like, why didn't I bring this up sooner? Or what is wrong with me? Maybe I am being a little angry. Maybe I am being crazy, or maybe I did misconstrue the actual meaning or what actually happened. And so this is where victims really this is where the harm to victims really starts to come in that you begin to doubt your own memory. You may stay silent. Again, you may internalize blame or shame. This also, if other people are privy to this or become privy to this D.A.R.V.O attack, this actually may bring on more attacks to the victims, or victims maybe get further traumatized by saying that they asked for it or that they didn't speak up, or people may start to doubt them because of this whole attack. And so D.A.R.V.O can really do a number on a person that experiences it in a number of ways. And so if you've experienced it, it's a good chance that, the person, you've just been caught up in that feedback loop and you're like, how did I get here? And so you have to be, in order to counteract that, what you need to do is present or state just the facts. Look at just the facts of information. You can state the facts, your feelings, and not get caught up in defense mode. And I know that that's easier said than done, and everyone is different. And certainly circumstances are also very different too, right? Because there's different conditions. For my situation, compared to a lot of folks that encounter it, the one that I used was very mild. And so I'm not suggesting that everyone can stay objective, be clear, and also diffuse the situation, because that is a skill that you have to acquire over time. And again, it could still be difficult depending on the person that you're going up against, or what sort of support they have, or how confident you feel in yourself, or just how emotionally connected you are to a situation. Because when you're emotionally connected to a situation, person, place, or thing, it can be very hard to stand up and say, hey, no, this is wrong, or hey, what you did to me wasn't right, because there's feelings, and those feelings may overshadow your ability to say what you need to say, and everyone's situation is different. Okay, and if you guys want to check out a little bit more about D.A.R.V.O, be sure to check that out. Psychologist Jennifer Freed is the one who actually came up with that concept. And again, D.A.R.V.O is one of the ultimate forms of gaslighting, and that really does a mental number on a person. It's a form of manipulation. And it really, if you find yourself in it, it can definitely just make you do a total tailspin and turn things around and make it so that you are the aggressor when you were simply the person that was trying to either stand up for yourself or state that there's a problem. So I wanted to hop on here and share that really quick. So until next time, you guys take care of yourselves and be well. Check out the sneak preview of next week's episode.
So the way I kind of got interested in that through kind of the back door, if you will. What I became really interested in, what started my interest in psychology more broadly, what was self-esteem. And so my graduate work was very focused on how people feel about themselves and how people think about themselves. And my interest in kind of the darker aspects of personality really came about from what I thought would be a single study that I would run in my doctoral program, where I was interested in looking at what's referred to as fragile self-esteem. So the sorts of fluctuations, for example, that people experience in their state self-esteem over time.